All right, so welcome back to your Chicago Zine Fest 2024 digital programming lead-in for the in-person fest happening on Saturday, October 5th at the Columbia College Chicago Student Center from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm Elias, an organizer of the fest this year. The video that you're watching right now is part of a weekly series spotlighting a zinester or zinesters that will be exhibiting at the show in the lead up to the fest. And today we're spotlighting Clown Dog Collective, and the resident clown dog we have here is Alondra. But Clown Dog is also made up of Miguel Solis and Deuce Lease. I'll do a quick little bio for y'all. So residing in Emeryville, California, Clown Dog Collective makes zines about art, their dog, the local music scene, Chuck E. Cheese, and other things they are fans of. You can check out their work at clowndogcollective.tumblr.com. Alondra, how you doing? How's it
Doing
going?
good. Good. How are you?
Good, good. You have like a really nice backdrop here of it feels very California with the natural light coming in and the
Yeah.
green. And this is very suburbs of just a dark basement with like, those lights right there.
Yeah.
So I already see like the difference of like the Midwest and the West Coast going on there. Um, so all the scientists at CZF have like cracked the codes and done the math, and we figured out that y'all are the farthest travelers we have for the show. So you're
Gosh.
coming from the farthest place. So I guess with that said, like you're coming from the West Coast, California, like are you ready for the colder, brisker weather in Chicago? Have you been to Chicago before also?
We haven't been to Chicago before, so it's gonna be my partner Deuce and I are gonna be traveling to Table. We're really excited because we've never been. Well, my partner has been
Oh,
to
cool.
Chicago. She actually moved from Ohio, but like went to Chicago first and did the train ride to California, and that's how she
Cool.
got here.
Wow.
Um,
Really
so we
cool.
are really excited. I don't know if we're ready for the cold though. Kind of
It,
used to
it
the California weather now.
it shouldn't be like too bad.
Yeah.
It like first week of October. I mean, you never really know. Sometimes it
Yeah.
snows on Halloween here, unfortunately. But like I grew up here, so like sometimes we've had Halloweens that are just totally like, Halloween costume in the snow. But it'll be the first week, so maybe if anything, I'm
Yeah.
hoping for like some sweater weather for everything, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. But so as we're recording right now, the fest, and even when this video drops, the fest is going to be less than a month away. So like, how has your preparation for the fest been? And I know you do a lot of Zine Fest out where you're at, and you kind of, if you want to, you can talk about the specific fest, but also just for fests in general, just kind of like getting prepared for those, and how does your process go with that? Is it kind of like chaotic, or is it kind of more just like very like bullet point listed? Everybody's different, so it's just been interesting to hear everybody's different approaches.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more chaotic. We just started doing like Zine Fest like last year, I think around
Oh,
like September. So we've done only a few. So we still don't have quite like the hang of it yet. I feel like we always like try to plan to like, have things go smoothly and then like last minute we realize there's like so many things to do. Like we have printing to finish, like folding to finish. Um, so right now, I still like I'm trying to like finish this one zine before we go out to Chicago. It's a little stressful, but I think we'll make it. We have some of the zines already like ready though, so because we just did San Francisco Zine Fest, so we like
yeah.
folded a lot for that. So we have those ready, but the new ones are the ones that are like we're still trying to finish them on time.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's like I didn't actually one, I didn't realize how young, so to speak, Clown Dog is. I didn't know it's only been around for like a year. At least tabling wise or just in general, the collective as a
Yeah, tabling wise, because
yeah.
at first it was just like mostly like my art, but my little brother is the other person in Clown Dog Collective.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
was like very creative. He's like very into like drawing and crafts. So like really try to like encourage him to like also put his work out there at a young age, because like
Yeah.
I wish I would have gotten that. So
And he's a young guy, right? Like he's
yeah, he's 10 years old.
yeah, and he's gonna be
Yeah,
at the fest?
he's not gonna be at this one
Okay.
because it's far away. But he
Sure.
comes to like the local ones, and like he
Cool,
came to
cool.
like the San Francisco one. It was like behind the table.
Yeah, well, that's rad. Yeah, because the photo that's going to be on our website and will be attached to this video is all of y'all together.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. That's what I noticed right away is your younger brother, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Aside from like y'all's amazing work that I'm really excited for everybody to see at CZF. But that's cool. Okay, yeah, it's definitely that sounds like your process for getting prepared for fest sounds like pretty accurate for everybody. I think there's
Yeah.
always some type of, earlier on in this interview series, we talked to Abby Kaysen, who's a cartoonist and a zine from Cincinnati, and her process was very she had some books already made, so that's kind of like a little bit of like stuff off the shoulders, but then also there's that little bit of a crunch to get the new thing out. I feel like everybody will time their like zines and their mini comics, whatever their thing they're putting out around fests.
Yeah.
That's almost like the deadline to be like, okay, this is when I want this new thing out because everyone can see it. So it's a nice little like deadline to have for sure.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's cool. That sounds awesome. So, talking about y'all's work, one thing I've noticed, and everyone else can notice if they go to your Tumblr page, which we'll have linked at the bottom of this video, is that y'all's work is very collage and like mixed media driven. I feel like when I think of Clown Dog, even though like it's y'all as a collective are still young, I feel like the aesthetic is really I like now when I think of y'all, I know exactly kind of what I'm in for a little bit, and it's really something I don't want to say a brand because I don't really like using that. Just aesthetic wise, I feel like I know like what type of work y'all are gonna make. So I was wondering like one, kind of because I don't know much about y'all, like what influenced that aesthetic, or maybe just influenced your art flow of working in different mediums, and also that collage and like mixed media that's so prevalent in all of the zines y'all make. Is that something y'all think about, or it just comes out like naturally? Like it's just something that like so like part of your practice, where it's just like there's really no thinking or thought behind it. It just is what it is.
Yeah. I think for mine, since I used to do a lot of collage in high school and
Yeah,
printmaking, I think that's just like what I'm naturally drawn to. So it's just
yeah,
like become just a part of my aesthetic regularly. Like I'm always taping things into my sketchbooks.
cool.
And like when I first started making zines in college, I like made it originally just by like taking stuff and like literally taping it onto a piece of paper and like photocopying it and just like handing it out to people. Um, so I think now it just like kind of comes like just it's just the natural way for me to make zines. The zine my partner did of Chuck E. Cheese is also with like found images, so like similarly like it just like naturally comes out as like a collage type of thing. Um,
Yeah, 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 that's
yeah, I
awesome.
hadn't really like thought about that about like our like aesthetic as a collective.
Yeah, it's something that I feel like you don't need to have one. You know what I mean? 'Cause especially with
Yeah,
zine small press, like I feel like the aesthetic is that we don't have an aesthetic, right? But then there are those like certain presses or certain collectives like y'all that I feel like, you know what you're getting from them, and you know it's going to be great, and you know it's going to feel like a certain way. It's almost like I'm not a big movie like I'm no, I shouldn't say that. I like movies, but I'm getting more into movies. It's almost like going to like an A24 movie. Like you kind of
yeah,
know what you're in for. And
yeah,
you know you're going to see something pretty cool, but you're not it's just going to be a little different each time. And that's how I feel like kind of y'all are and like going through your work. It's very much just like so early on in the collective and like with printing and doing all this stuff, even though I know you and I'm sure your partner and your little brother have been doing it, it's something like, tangible wise, like you can kind of get that feel already that I think is really cool. And for me, when we were going through all the people that are going to be tabling at the fest this year, it's really like y'all really stand out. And I think that's really exciting. And also for y'all to be applying from California, like nowhere near us, like near us, but it was
yeah,
really exciting to see that and to see the type of work that was coming out of California because I can see all I want on Instagram and all that stuff, but until either I go there or y'all come to us, it's like it brings that new thing of like you have
yeah.
the style painting hands.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's also why we like wanted to travel because like we've done a few like out of state. I think we did one in Salt Lake City and Portland, and like it's really
Fun.
exciting to see like what people are doing out there and like meeting like people making zines and like just like chatting and like trading things. So
Yeah.
we're really excited about that about like meeting new artists and zine makers.
Yeah, for sure. We're excited to have you on. Like that's like the really fun thing about going to those other shows. That's what I was going to ask you next. Is like, is this one of your first out of state shows? But you said you went to Salt Lake City, and you said Portland
Yeah,
just now. So that's cool. Those are all really cool cities. Portland, especially Portland, Oregon, or Portland, Maine.
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, that Nothing against Portland, Maine. That's awesome too. But Portland, Oregon, like that's one place I'm like, if I were to ever not live in Chicago, I think that's where I would live. Because it's just such a cool and weird city in the best way possible. Same with Portland, Maine. But Portland, Oregon has that kind of extra thing. But that's cool. So yeah, it sounds like really then like the aesthetic, so to speak, of Clown Dog and all the stuff you make, you're not really following like a guideline. You're really just kind of going with what works and what you feel is right, like zine to zine.
Yeah.
I don't know, just accident or no accident, you just have some really nice like because when I put stuff together for my own work, I'm like, okay, what's gonna look good in a table? So like I go like, okay, I have something small, I have something big, I need something like I don't know, maybe with I use a lot of limited color palettes, so maybe okay, I have stuff with red, maybe I want stuff with like I don't know, like green or whatever. And I feel like that's just naturally for y'all, where for me and for I'm sure some other people, it's more like we really have to think about it and kind of think about what our um, line of books is going to look like or whatever. So it's cool that it's just one of those things that's just like a gut kind of natural thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. So now, for you personally, is when you started as a collective, is that the first time you started kind of dabbling with zines, or were you doing it beforehand, or has it always been a part of you, or is it something kind of new that you're kind of doing something with? I'm just kind of curious to hear about your history of the zines.
I started doing zines when I was in college. I think my
Cool.
first zine I did was in a photography class. So
Oh
our
yeah.
professor had us like make like the images like super tiny in a dark room and like tape them all together on a piece of paper and like we all did like an exchange in that class. So that was the first time I did zines and he like brought out a bunch and like just like artist books. That's where like I really got interested in. I was like, this is actually like really cool to just have something like to hand out to people. So that's when I started doing like these little tiny zines. Um, and then last year when we wanted to start doing the events, we decided to like start tabling all together because my little brother also like said I want to do this and like I want to make
Yeah.
something. So that's how we all decided to just like get together and like brand ourselves, I guess, as like Clown Dog Collective.
No,
Um,
I love it. I think it's fun. Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's awesome. That's like it's always so interesting. I feel like not everyone's experience is one to one, but with zines and small press publishing, I feel like everyone's gateway to it isn't necessarily like finding a zine that they really like or like reading someone else's zine. It's almost just like an activity that you kind of just fall into and you're like, oh, I want to do more of this, or like I want
yeah,
to find out more. Like there's people all around like the country that make this and from different countries. It's one of those things where it's like and I'm sure it goes both ways, but I feel like more times than not, everyone's like kind of like the zine lifers. It's always like you make it first and then you're like, oh wow, I really want to like expand upon this and really like fully understand the art form behind it and delve into like the history of zines. So that's cool that it was in a class. That's where a lot of my like for me a lot of my zine memories were from too. And I know like now they're in a lot more classrooms and stuff. That's really cool because I think
yeah,
it's so accessible. It's such an accessible medium. Of course, you like the more you do zines and the more you make zines, the more you experiment and do like higher end and experimental things with it that a beginner wouldn't. But there's nothing stopping you from just taking a piece of paper and just making it those little mini like 8-page zines.
yeah.
So I think that's what's really cool about it for sure. Um, so with all that with the zines and we're talking about stuff you've put out, stuff you're working on. Um, we've been asking this to everybody, and it's been really fun to see what people were bringing to the fest. And I was wondering what y'all are going to be bringing to the fest this year.
Yeah, I have some to show.
Yeah, yeah,
So this one's like my little brother's. He just did this one.
yeah.
He makes this stuff like about like pop culture things he likes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know much about this, but yeah. So I printed this for him because I also like help out at a studio here in Berkeley. So I get
Oh,
access to
cool.
like a risograph. It's like I just printed this out for him, and this is his
We're
newest zine.
10
Um,
years old, making better zines than I did when I started when I was like 20. So, geez, that's
yeah.
awesome. Really cool.
Um, then I have the little Chuck E. Cheese one that's also printed. Wait,
Yes.
I can't find a camera.
No, no, you're
and
good. You're good.
Also, it's a risograph zine. It has like some shiny stickers on it, and this one's made from like old images from like an archive of like Chuck E. Cheese.
That's awesome.
So this was the one Deuce made.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's your partner.
yeah, it's my partner.
Cool, 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 cool.
Then there's this one. A lot of our work is about our dog.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love our muse. I wasn't like making a lot of art when I finished like college because like I was just like working all the time. And when I got my dog, I suddenly felt like this inspiration to like make a lot of work about him. Because I'm mostly primarily a printmaker. So that's what I do. I make a lot of prints about my dog. And then the newest thing that I've made that I'm really excited to bring is this little tiny one. We always try to have like a little free zine at our table. So this is our free zine for like this season. It's a little Halloween like mini zine. So this is kind of like the vibe of the bigger one I want to make because we really love like vintage Halloween. So we collect a lot of like vintage stuff. So we want to make like an old like 90s inspired like catalog kind of zine and with like, Halloween activities in it. So I made this like paper doll of the dog.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be our free zine at our table this year.
Geez, that's the free one? Like, my God, I'd pay for that alone. Like, y'all, like, man, that rules. That's really cool. That's awesome. So your dog, I make stuff about comics about my dog too. When did you get your dog, and what type of dog is, and what's their name? And we need the backstory on the dog.
Same Wilson. I got him about I think 3 years ago now. Maybe this is the fourth year. He's about 4 years old, I think. So I got him 3 years ago. Yeah, he's a little chaotic. He's not like super friendly. It was really tough at first. He's gotten a lot more calm now that he's an adult dog. Yeah, he's just a cool dog. I really like him. I think he like really added quality to my life. Inspiration.
Yeah, for sure. I get inspiration from all the dogs I've had during my life, and they're just, I don't know. I'm an animal guy through and through. I like cats and dogs, whatever, hamster, but dogs have always been my favorite animal, and I think they're just the ones that like, they're just so emotional for good and for bad, for people they like and people they don't like. But for me, like artistically, for sure, like any dogs I've ever had, they've always been a really big inspiration, like you said, for sure. So that's awesome. And man, you're talking to another big vintage Halloween person. So if you're making that giant size and that, like, and you're making it look like a catalog, like I'm there. So that's rad. That's really cool. Do you print a lot of your zines with Riso?
Yeah, we started printing them like that. There's a few that we have that we like photocopied and just like got them at like Office Depot, but like felt like the colors were kind of off and like we didn't quite like how like dark they printed. So I usually just do them on Rizzo just because the colors are so bright and I just like got really into it like recently. And it's been really fun, sort of like screen printing, but like digital. Yeah, so I really enjoy it, and I've just like printed most of our latest zines on the Rizzo, and the Halloween one will also be printed on Rizzo.
Sick. That's awesome. Yeah, they're tabling at the show too. Is a local press here called Perfectly Acceptable Press, and I think you'll like a lot of the stuff they do because they really mess around with that stuff and great, like 10 out of 10. So
yeah,
you're here, you'll have to stop by and say hey.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's a good like meeting of the minds right there. That's something I want to see. But that's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. It's really fun to me just to like I know y'all have been doing it for so long, but also I'm just more excited that Clown Dog like as a corporation, if we will, is so young. It's like only a year. So I'm like, y'all are like just starting with this stuff. And like, so I can't wait to see like 2, 3 years from now what y'all are making. And like, your brother then's gonna be 13, so he'll be mature by then. So to see all the, really cool stuff he's making and y'all are making, so I think that's awesome. So that's really cool. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Of course. It's gonna be awesome. So here's our fun question we've been asking everyone, and and honestly, this is my last time. Next year when we do these, I'm not asking this question anymore because I feel like it's just an annoying question. But it's a very Chicago question, so I'd be remiss not to ask. So one, are you a pizza person?
think so. Yeah.
Okay. So then, are you familiar with like the Chicago style pizza and all that?
I am familiar with
Okay.
it.
Okay. So we have like two different types. We have like the deep dish, which is like that big, like thick, like pie pretty much. And we also have like a tavern style, which is like a cracker, like small. I
Mhm.
like both. I'm just explaining them. And honestly, I ask this question all the time, and I really don't have an opinion on it. I just like hearing other people's opinions. Do you have a preference to either or? And yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say I'll let you
I don't think I've really actually tried either. Like I know what they are. There's like a really popular spot here called Zachary's, and they have the
go. Okay.
deep dish, and it's like always packed. But I've never gone in.
Yeah, speaking of pizza, y'all like I follow this hardcore band called Twitching Tongues that's out in California, and they oh, do yeah, they rule. And the lead singer like Colin Young, that dude is a huge pizza head, and anytime he's like posting about stuff, I'm like, I don't know. I thought I knew about pizza. I don't know anything about pizza out there. But all right, so when you're here, then you'll have to try some.
Yeah.
At some point. Do you have any good pizza spots out in California that you dig?
Um, I, I don't know. I feel like I have very basic taste. Like I'll get Little Caesars pizza.
Well, I just literally, not even like it's meant to be right now. I just had Little Caesars for dinner today. So sometimes that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
I feel like unpopular opinion, I really like their pretzel bread crust pizza.
Mhm.
So some people hated that stuff. I liked it, but my taste is awful. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's this like one spot. My partner works at a bakery called Arizmendi, and it's like
Okay.
pretty popular. They sell pizza on sourdough crust.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, that's like I
Yeah.
have to try that. That sounds so good. Yeah, pizza being here in the Midwest, and unfortunately just being a Chicago guy, that's just how it goes. Pizza's like in the menu every day. But cool. All right. So awesome. Is there anything that any other fests you're going to be at, or any other things you have in the calendar after CZF that you wanted to plug at all?
Yeah, we're gonna be at Lone Star
Oh,
Zine Fest in Austin,
damn. When is
which
that?
is also new to us. It's I think October 19th and 20th.
Holy crap. So like a few weeks after, y'all are just
Yeah,
going straight to, damn, wow. You got,
yeah.
man, if y'all are no, I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking to the viewers. If y'all are at CZF, you got to stop by because they're doing the journey of every of every show this year. So that'd be rad. So y'all got to stop by their Clown Dog Collectors booth. Because that's wild. That's awesome though. That's really cool. Cool. All right. So cool. Clown Dog Collective, Alondra. Thank you for taking the time today to talk to us and show us your work and also just being at the fest and making the track. Are you taking a plane? Are you taking a train?
Yeah, we're taking a plane, but on the way back, we're taking the train.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. So definitely hit that table up, y'all. Get them some good
Yeah,
trainers so they can get some good snacks on the way back.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. We can stay on for a little bit after, just to, end everything. But I really appreciate it. As a reminder, you can check out Clown Dog's work at clowndogcollective.tumblr.com. You can also follow Alondra on their personal account at Mouse in the Pit on Instagram, which is it's a great username. And of course, the big one, you can say hey in person to them at CZF happening on Saturday, October 5th at the Columbia College Chicago Student Center. It's going to be awesome. Clown Dog's going to be there. Pick up their cool zines. It's going to be awesome. So cool. All right. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Yeah.